Hello, ladies and germs. Gentlemen, back to Journal Team LA. Welcome back to another one-shot. And today, or one-offs, I don't know. Anyway, welcome back to one-offs. And today we're playing DK, King of Swing, for the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know this game at all. All I do know is that I know very little of this game, and that's only because I've seen certain things about it here and there. The only thing I know about like Donkey Kong is what do you call it? It's like this is a new mechanical game that what do you call it? Or I can move left and right. Okay, that I was okay, I get it. Okay, whew. Okay, yeah, this is the thing that everyone sort of disliked about Donkey Kong, or at least, like, I don't know, some people disliked this game when it first came out. All I do know is that this game came out around the time of the Great Donkey Kong Depression of 2016 or something. Basically, nobody really had too much affinity to Kong. Everyone loved King Kong, like everyone did love the guy, but he was in desperate need of a new game because his Donkey Kong Country series and then his Donkey Kong other series, DK64, were really. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to get into the controls. But anyway, Donkey Kong had some weird depression-like system where event where he basically didn't have what do you call it, a new game, let's say a new game since his inception, or at least since Donkey Kong Country. At least that's what I believe is the case in point. And it's been what do you call it? And this is one of the few newer games, quote unquote newer games, that came out for his since Donkey Kong 64 or what do you call it, since a couple of other things. Trust me, there have been other Donkey Kong games, but it's just that they really didn't show off too much as to what exactly what do you call it, DK could do or couldn't do. And well, this is one of the few games that were just new and everyone was like, cool, a new Donkey Kong game. But unfortunately, it's not a game everyone wanted. As you all know, everyone wanted a new Donkey Kong Country game. And well, they got one eventually in the late 2016. I don't know what number it was. All I do know is that you did get Donkey Kong Country Returns, but unfortunately, fortunately, Donkey Kong Country didn't come out until later, and a lot of other games came out, like the Bongo series, I believe, some Donkey Kong racing game, this game, and King of Swing 2. A couple of other games here and there too. But that's about it for Donkey Kong. Ooh. So, at least Donkey Kong got something, but, my reaction to this game when I first played it, I thought it was okay. It's something different, and in all honesty, what else could you do for a Game Boy game other than just playing the game? I don't know. I don't know what else you could do for Donkey Kong Country in all honesty. Because what do you call it? Game Boy Advance games aren't really the well-known best to be something where a game series could continue on. So, at least it was something. At least a Donkey Kong game on the Game Boy was something different. It showed somebody thought, oh hey, maybe people liked the series, maybe we could bring back the series somehow. And I know, some people didn't enjoy, what do you call it? Okay, whew. Enjoy the series too much, so they thought, hey, why not try to bring Donkey Kong back in some way? Oh yeah, and for those of you who don't really know why Donkey Kong was such on a hiatus, technically speaking, Nintendo did own the rights to Donkey Kong. It's just they owned the rights to the name, but Rareware at the time was the persons who made the Donkey Kong Country series, made Donkey Kong 64, and so you know the idea of a Donkey Kong game on a Nintendo system meant they had to go to Rare. And for those of you curious, Rare kind of got bought by Nintendo. No, by Microsoft. So you know the whole idea of Donkey Kong Country as a whole returning was kind of a moot point because Nintendo couldn't get rights to it, I think. That's the main point of it, I believe. I could be fully well wrong, and some people might want to correct me, I really don't know. Because, like, in all honesty, I didn't really pay attention to that too much. I did pay attention to some things that happened, like certain Donkey Kong games coming out later. But unfortunately, what do you call it? Not much was given in terms of what do you call it? Informational things here and there. So Donkey Kong came up with somebody or someone at Nintendo or something decided, hey, let's make a game that's like this. So you know, just for a new Donkey Kong game. But you know what? And so you know. In all honesty, when I look at this game, I don't think it's too bad, but yeah. Okay, it has some form of momentum, okay. I'm trying to get used to the controls, and I may just play this game for like 10 minutes at best. Which I guess it's okay to do that. Okay, ooh, like this type of gameplay, or this type of game in general. I've never played Donkey Kong. I did play Donkey Kong, what do you call it? A few of Donkey Kong's other games, including the Bongo series, except for the Donkey Kong racing game, I did not play that. I will say this much about Donkey Kong King of Swing. I did play it when I was a little bit younger. And in terms of being younger, I mean, when I first had my Game Boy Advance, I do remember this game specifically. And I just, you know, even though it said Donkey Kong, I just assumed this was some other, what do you call it, iteration from games, and I thought it was okay. Trust me, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this game is perfect, trust me, it could use a little bit of work in terms of, some other stuff, I don't know. All I do know is that this game was coming out, and I didn't, what do you call it, I owned the game itself, and I thought, it wasn't too bad. But the one thing that really shocked me was the fact that a lot of people didn't really like this game, and I was like, what's wrong with it? It doesn't seem that bad. And you know, I now realize why people didn't like it. So you know what? I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying, you know, maybe they overreacted. I don't know. This game seems harmless, and I know, like, hey, and I know what other people are gonna say. You've only been playing the first level of the game. And I know there might be more to it than that. In fact, I'll try the secondary level only because of reasons. Okay. But you know what? Maybe I'm right, and maybe the game's harmless. Maybe other people are just a little bit too, what do you call it? Bit too sensitive on the whole Donkey Kong thing, I don't know. I don't know. Like, whoa. I will say this much about the game. It seems mundane in terms of just being... what do you call it? Being, like, well, simple, I guess. I really don't know what else to say. Otherwise, the game feels, like, you know, nice and fine. In all honesty, you really can't mess up a Game Boy game, like, too much here. Because, let's face it, Game Boy is a good system in terms of like handheld systems, but you really can't really say, hey, guess what? Game Boy games are really like the hardest games to really program. But some of them, what do you call it? Game Boy games are difficult to program. Not really. Some are, like, what do you call it? Some of them can be a bit, some of them can be, what do you call it, a bit hard to play certain things because some of them haven't aged well, or some of them are just completely weirded out, but whatever works. I will say this much about certain other Game Boy games that some people may know of, and That includes certain ones that really didn't play well. For those of you curious as to what I mean, the only Game Boy game that I know of that really sucked in terms of controls... Oh, that's what happens. You can't do a whole, hold on to it and split Donkey Kong in half. The one game I know that has terrible controls in terms of just itself included is, Oh no. Is, what do you call it? Goku... Legacy of Goku. That's the one I was thinking of. Because, yeah, Legacy of Goku, controls-wise, was kind of bad in terms of just trying to do things. Because, Legacy of Goku tried its best to be an RPG game of Dragon Ball Z. But, yeah. It really didn't work. Oh. Oh, dang it. I was hoping to... Oh. Hoping to run out of there. Anyway, so, Legacy of Goku had difficulties controlling, and if anyone knows, TFS Plays? Or Gaming? I don't know. Whichever one they go with nowadays. Whew. TFS Gaming, did do a playthrough of, Legacy of Goku. And it did not turn out well. Oh no, oh no. It was kind of a mess. But not like their gameplay itself was a mess, it was just that the game itself. Because, by God, what do you call it? That game, its control functions and its, design-wise, feels like as if, like, what do you call it? It shouldn't be that bad for a, what do you call it? A Game Boy Advance game. At least in my opinion. Because, when I did play Legacy of Goku, Boo's Fury and Legacy Goku 2, which I thought were two separate games entirely, I thought, Legacy of, Goku, 1 was some type of, like, what do you call it? Some type of mistake or a port or, what do you call it? A somewhat, like, unofficial game that somebody made that, what do you call it? That really wasn't what it was. I thought, Legacy of Goku was basically... one was basically, I'm trying to think, what was it? Basically either a ROM hack or something of, the original Legacy of Goku, because there's no way that a game like that, what do you call it, Legacy of Goku 1, 2, or Boo's Fury, were all in the same type of category, because, oh, dang it. Is Legacy of Goku 1 and 2 seem very much different games entirely. And the real thing that shocks me about Legacy of Goku 1 is that the fact that it's a Game Boy game that controls very much suck. And I'm like, oh come on, how could you mess up a Game Boy game of all things? Come on, there's no way that that happened. There has to be some type of explanation. Like, for that type of thing. Because there's no way. But I guess you could mess up a Game Boy Advance game somehow. Because I know there's some other ones that I figured out were pretty bad. I don't know where, like, trust me, there are some. Trust me, there are. I might show you later. But that's besides the point. For now, I'm done with DK, what do you call it, Jungle Swing for now. This was just a short episode I just wanted to make because, well, I might not play the whole game of DK, what do you call it, King of Swing, but I might at some point in the future, but for now I just wanted to show this off. Anyway, thanks all for watching and listening to my ramblings. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe for more. And, well, I'll see y'all next time for the next video. Until then, sayonara, my bots. So long.